Hey, y'all. Thanks for joining me on your Sunday evening, or if you're my friend Rummy in Australia, your Monday morning. I'm Josh from Louisiana, and if this is your first time here, on Sundays, I'm bringing y'all back to the Bayou to celebrate a show that was gone too soon, Southern Charm New Orleans. Man, sure, time does fly when you're having fun. We're already at the season one finale. There are ultimatums, resolutions, and pregnancy tests. Hope y'all enjoy. Now, laissez les bon temps rouler.
Good time, big easy. A little secret that I keep from me. Come on now, close your lips. A little secret. Let's keep living the good life. Laissez les bon temps rouler.
All right, we open with Reagan, Tamika, Rachel, and Susan meeting for lunch and a discussion about the ever shifting dynamic of Tamika and Gian, but not before seeing a little praise about Reagan's party and her cooking. Cut to Reagan saying that she loves everything about being a Southern lady, from flowers to cooking to pastries. She's here for it all and clearly conquers each arena. Sorry, I can't help but really gush about Reagan a little bit. She was my little standout star of the season. Anyways, we find out that Gian has blocked Tamika on all social media, and Tamika is pretty shocked. She says that she doesn't dislike Gian and she doesn't have a problem with her. But we've all seen this season that every time Gian shows up to an event, the first words out of Tamika's mouth is, "Why is Gian here?" But it's fine. We don't have to love everyone, and some people are just thorns in our sides. Trust me, I have about 10 thorns in my ass right now. But the biggest issue Tamika is having is the treatment of Barry and how Gian has basically shunned him for his indiscretion. Sorry, can't talk today. What I wasn't expecting were the other women to finally come to Tamika's defense. Whether she's being holier than thou or acts out of jealousy of Tamika, the other ladies clearly have Tamika's back. But then we learned that not only has Gian blocked Tamika on social media, she's also canceled her gym membership at Barry's gym, which sets Tamika off, and she mentions that she wants to have a talk with her at the final party. Though Barry is apprehensive to Tamika doing this, he isn't all that worried because he knows Tamika is a lady and won't be flipping tables or throwing drinks on people. Which, I get it, but it sure does make for good TV. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. All right, then we have Justin and Kelsey moving into Justin's parents' house. And Justin reveals that there is yet another setback with getting them moved into their house. Here we see Kelsey finally reach the end of her rope. We all know that she's been not so subtly dropping hints all season about wanting to get married, and this may have been her 13th reason. She starts to double down on the fact that she is just a girlfriend and has no real stake in this home that they are supposed to be building together. She feels as though Justin is always in the front of their relationship while she feels like a background supporting character. Next, we get our final scene with the adorable little Rainey. After her conversation with Susan and the struggles Rainey has been facing, Tamika decides to bring her to Susan's radio station for a little mother-daughter bonding and also to check in with Rainey and be sure that she's doing okay. Of course, all roads lead back to Rainey being bullied at school because some kids are just assholes. And God bless her, she tries to act unbothered, but I think you can tell deep down that she's hurt because of it. But the most important takeaway from this moment was when she started talking about her family and how being with them makes her happy, which leads Tamika to admitting that Barry was right all along. All her little girl wants is more time with her family, and it was good to see Tamika realize that and commit to spending more time with them. Cut to Reagan cooking. I'm telling y'all, I'm manifesting getting some of Reagan's food one day. Every time she cooks, people rave about it. And today she was cooking gumbo. Little side note, I made some gumbo the other day. So be sure you're following me on my other socials at Josh from Louisiana to see my video tomorrow. But anyways, back to Reagan and Jeff. Jeff starts teasing Reagan, saying that he's never seen a red gumbo before, to which Reagan pops off and tells him that she isn't going to have a Yankee tell her how to cook her gumbo. And that is one of the most relatable things to me that she has said all season. And if you're not from Louisiana, please refrain from giving us pointers on how to cook our gumbo. But I will say, when Jeff said he'd never seen a red gumbo before, that means that what Reagan was cooking was a Creole gumbo, and he must have only had Cajun gumbos before. And you'll see Creole gumbos more in New Orleans. There, it's more Creole based. Um, but anyways, let me get off my soapbox about Southern cuisine. We come back to the conversation of children and Jeff worrying about CTE, which you remember we mentioned earlier in the recaps, that most footballers have a major concern about CTE. I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but it is pretty serious. But anyways, he's worried about that and the fact that the lifespan of a lineman is 55 years old. And at the time, Jeff is only, I want to say, like 42. So I can completely understand, his worries and fears about that. So he's worried he won't have kids, or if he has them, he won't be around long for them. And your heart really can't help but break for Jeff. But at the same time, you have to respect Reagan's wishes. I don't think that anyone who isn't ready to be a parent should feel pressured into it. But plot twist, Reagan calls Tamika worried that she might be pregnant because she's late and is also experiencing other signs that may mean motherhood is approaching faster than she thought. Thankfully, they had the adult Easter egg hunt, and there were plenty of pregnancy tests to go around. Before they get off the phone, Tamika says that she's just going to tell Barry and no one else, to which Reagan responds, "Absolutely not. Do not tell Barry." Well, whoops. Barry was there the whole time. And alas, this brings us to our final party of the season. And for the first time, I think we see everyone's storylines wrap up with a nice little bow, but that's not before coming to some resolutions first. Before I continue on, I'd like to give a little shout out to some special friends of mine. Hey y'all, I was recently on the Pop Culture Green Room podcast with my Louisiana girls, Kimberly and Blair. And as a token of their appreciation, they sent me a sweet little gift bag that is undoubtedly filled with Louisiana goodies. Now let's see what I got. All right, Bayou Booksellers. I actually followed them on Instagram, and they have some pretty great stuff. The packaging's so pretty, I don't want to open it, but I want gifts more, so. All right, first up, we have some heirloom popcorn snacks, spicy cheddar mini popcorn with Tabasco sauce. All right, girls. Gumbo. Oh man, I wish I would have opened this sooner. I just made a gumbo the other day, but oh, and what is this? Oh, and a little Louisiana. It's like a Christmas ornament, but I think I might hang that in my car. Shot glass. All right, who doesn't need a shot glass? Beautiful. Shot glass number 2. Look at that. Love me some fleur-de-lis. Oh, I actually think I might frame this and put this in my little gallery wall in the hallway. And some Louisiana socks. Home. Yep, that's right, baby. Louisiana's always home. Kimberly and Blair, thank y'all so much. You sure do know how to make a little displaced Louisianian feel special. So if y'all are looking for a great pop culture podcast, which if you're here, you obviously do, please be sure to go give Kimberly and Blair a follow on Instagram at the Pop Culture Green Room, and don't forget to check out their podcast on Spotify. And if you find yourself in the Hammond area, be sure to stop in at Bayou Booksellers at 201A West Thomas Street, Hammond, Louisiana, and maybe give them a follow on Instagram as well at Bayou Booksellers and Gift Shop. Again, thank you so much to Kimberly and Blair. I really love those presents. Now on to the party. Barry basically beelines it to Jeff to tell him that Reagan is late. Obviously, an ecstatic Jeff immediately goes to Reagan to find out if it's true. How this news getting leaked didn't end up in someone getting into an argument is beyond me, but here we are. So Reagan goes to take a pregnancy test, which turns out to be negative, and while Reagan is elated, Jeff is visibly disappointed, which is exactly how one might expect that news to be received on both their parts. Tamika addresses the fact that, of course, she and Barry have their ups and downs, but what couple doesn't? What I loved the most was her comparison of the relationship with the city of New Orleans. She says, yes, Barry and I have issues. We're like New Orleans. We hire the surface, and when the water rises, we just take care of it. Amen. And then they have sex in the bathroom. Anyways, then what we expect to be an explosive showdown between Tamika and Gian actually turns out to be very civil. Tamika takes the high road for talking about Gion's marriage and apologizes because she knows she was wrong for doing that. And in a shocking turn of events, they resolve everything and move on. Not where I was expecting that to go. Now, whether it was authentic and Tamika wants to build from this or she's just trying to make peace so her husband is no longer affected by their beef, I'm not sure. As we wrap up, we see Nacelle for the first time since the beginning of the season. And I got to say, I honestly miss her. I felt like she brought a great energy to the show, and I just wish she would have been full time. But I digress. We get to see John Moody painting on the roof, Jeff's infamous dance moves, and a lantern lighting ceremony. This was certainly one of the more tame finales we've seen on Bravo, but it was refreshing to see everyone on good terms in the end. Now I am just interested in what your thoughts are. Hello, Cindy and Christopher. Thank you. You are two of three people that have joined me for the live today, but I appreciate y'all being here. No, Cindy, I am not pregnant, but thank you for asking. Although I guess my pregnancy test thumbnail kind of leaves something to the imagination. Yes, it is pouring here. I got to be honest though, I am loving the change of scenery in LA because not what you would expect, but constant sunshine does get kind of boring. You've had gumbo at Disneyland in New Orleans, in New Orleans Square. Is that the same? You know what? I cannot speak to that because I have actually never been to Disneyland. I've been here for 4 years and have yet to go to Disneyland. But I'm willing to bet that no, it is not the same. Muddy Grace, hey baby, how are you? Zach Peter, are you joining me late? Just teasing. All right, so I am curious though, what do y'all think of the first season of Southern Charm? I know we only have one left to go, but I really have enjoyed watching it, and it's actually really nice to see, my home state represented, which is why I want to get it back. I there are like a few things that I might change about it, production wise and everything like that. But all in all, I thought it was a great show, and it was a good representation. Though I would have liked to see more like in your face Louisiana stuff. Maybe even bringing on some new characters. I do feel like it was a little imbalanced because I don't know, the ratio of men to women was too much. We only had Reagan and Tamika as the only full time ladies on the cast. The rest were men. So I want to see more women. Or putting that out there, maybe Housewives of New Orleans. You know what, Cindy? I have not seen season 2 either. I was part of the problem, as to why they didn't have great ratings towards the end there. But I had never. I want to say like I was in grad school at the time, so I didn't have time to watch TV. So I completely missed the boat. But let's get them back. We'll get those ratings up. Oh, thank you, Muddy Grace. Yeah, it's been fun. It's also really nice to, just kind of get on here and be able to talk about um, you know, my homeland. Joanne, I'm looking forward to you being here as we recap the second season, which we're just going to go right into it next Sunday. So everybody be sure that you watch season 2 premiere of Southern Charm New Orleans. All right, guys. Well, I am sure that everybody's trying to get in the groove for the coming week. So if there is nothing else, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up now. So we are one down, one to go. I hope y'all will continue to join me on Sundays as I recap Southern Charm New Orleans. But if you're interested in changing things up and adding to your weekly internet consumption, I am recapping Feud Capote versus the Swans on Tuesdays. If you haven't watched yet, I highly recommend. But if you don't have time, I'll be sure to give you the weekly rundown before the next episodes air on FX on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and also drop a comment down below. For more updates, you can follow me at Josh from Louisiana on Instagram, where I'll give you the latest timing and release dates for new content. You can also see my latest reels and catch my gumbo video that I'll be dropping tomorrow. Once again, thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me, and I hope you all have a great week and look forward to seeing you all next Sunday. Ciao, y'all.